So I had the idea. I was a longtime camp counselor, and we would always go through these rosebud thorns throughout the week at camp. Rose is something good or exciting going on. Bud is something you're looking forward to. And then thorn is something unpleasant or difficult.
Please lead me in this, camp counselor.
Join Doctors Savanah Craig and Ronnnetta Sartor as we navigate life beyond graduation. Real conversations about forging our own paths in our early years in our careers. There's a reason it's called practicing dentistry. All right, welcome back to another episode of Beyond Graduation. I am Savanah Craig.
And I am Ronnetta Sartor.
This week, as we talked about, this season is a little more raw and real and just sharing our month-to-month, day-to-day lives. So I had the idea. I was a longtime camp counselor, and we would always go through these rosebud thorns throughout the week at camp. And so I thought this would be a really cool segment to have us go through and see how our, lives have changed over the year of recording or the months to months or however long this podcast goes on. So we thought it would be cool to share a little bit about what is going on in our lives. So if you're not familiar with rosebud thorn, basically your rose is something good or exciting going on presently. Bud is something you're looking forward to. And then thorn is something unpleasant or difficult or challenging that is going on or that has gone on recently. So Ronnetta, do you want to start and share? We can each share our rose and then bud and thorn, and I'm sure we'll have questions and comments as we move forward.
So I want to pass the torch back to you.
Oh.
Because you were the camp counselor, which I knew nothing about. So please lead me in this, camp counselor.
Okay. So my rose right now is that we just closed on our house.
Yay!
Yes. So I am excited and terrified about this adult decision. So that is really exciting. We are really happy with what we found and excited to get the keys. Not so excited to move, but that is my rose for the moment.
So actually moving, the process of moving might be one of your thorns, huh?
Yes, correct. You got it. You're picking it up real quick.
Real quick. So a rose for me is probably, if you guys listen back a couple of episodes or a few episodes, you may have heard of my chiropractor debacle and where things were going with my back. So since that time, things have been improving for me. So that's a really good rose. So anyone that's been through any sort of like health situation, sometimes when you're in the thick of it, it can seem like it's hopeless or is no need to do all of the things that you need to do. And so I think part of it was a mindset shift for myself to say, okay, this is not going to be my reality. I'm going to do everything that I can to get better, feel better, so that I can be the best that I can be. So that's been the best rose for me at this moment.
Are you noticing a difference day to day, like in how you're feeling and those sorts of things?
I think part of it too is like I've kind of done a 360 again.
Okay.
So I've kind of changed my diet, but changed it to limit stuff that I wasn't before. And I think diet has had a whole lot to do with it. And then, not that I wasn't being active before, but I think because I was able to change my diet, it kind of freed up more energy and kind of decreased some inflammation for me to be able to want to do more when I am being active, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then just also other therapies that I've been trying, and so far so good. So, but we'll see how it does like long term, you know.
Of course. Was the diet stuff recommended from your new chiropractor, or how much of this has been your own research in
So
conjunction
the
with,
new
or
chiropractor, not so much. I had done a food sensitivity test
okay.
a while back, and I like had the report of what it said. So part of it was going and looking at it, and then in addition to that, I started trying to limit how much meat and animal products
Okay.
I'm intaking to see if that has an impact on it. So I won't say that I'm like vegan or anything like that, but I've just been making more conscious decisions about what I am allowing myself to eat.
Very cool. I'm glad to hear that things are much better than they were. I'm
Yeah,
feeling more hopeful.
for sure, for sure.
Hopeful that you'll be able to continue to do this dentistry thing for a while longer.
I know. I mean, if dentistry doesn't work out, you know, my next thing was gardening, but I kind of need my back for that too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Those are all physical labor tasks.
It is. It sure is.
Might have to be balloon animals. You might have to call your friend.
I mean, I wish I had gotten his contact
I
information.
know.
Gee.
Yeah.
But you know, who knows?
Stranger things have happened. All right. So up next is Bud. So Bud is something you're anticipating or looking forward to. For me, there are talks of partnership into the practice that I currently work at. So I'm very excited for those talks to continue and to grow in a different leadership and ownership capacity in the practice. So that's very exciting. The other exciting thing for me as far as anticipation is we are finally almost done with the first draft of our standard operating procedures.
Yay.
Yes, it's been a labor of love. So I'm excited to finally get those in the hands of team members, because I think that's when we're actually going to know if there's going to be things that are going to need to be changed or clarified. And we're not going to know that until we start sharing them with our team members and see, work the kinks out, because I can stare at the same piece of paper that I've written for months and it makes total sense to me and it might not to somebody else. So I'm excited to get that out there and get all of us a little more on the same page. And I think it will take some pressure off of our team leads and our management to have things just written down and have a resource that way. So I'm excited to see how that goes.
For sure. So our buds are similar. I am not in the process of buying another practice or anything like that.
This is where the tea is spilled.
Right. I'm not in the process of doing that at all. But I am participating in Ignite coaching, and it's been really good for my team and I. So we're starting to see the buds in the labor that we've been putting in come to fruition. So we spent a lot of time at the end of last year, like you said, putting those systems and protocols in place, and as a team making sure that it was stuff that all of us could agree to. And it has just kind of helped us, like you said, to be on the same page, and for when something happens, okay, well, what does our system and protocol say, and going back to that, and so that there's no question. But I will tell you, every day you realize that, okay, we may need to add something to it,
Yeah.
or maybe if not every day, but at least once a week something's coming up and you're like, okay, well, if that's a pain point for us, then we should have a system for it.
Yeah.
So that it's not so that's really good that you all are doing that.
You have to start somewhere, though, which is sort of the whole thing. You just need to get something in place, and it's always going to be ever evolving.
For sure.
Which I feel grateful that we live in the time that we do, where all of these documents are likely electronic and easily editable, because I can't imagine having it all. Obviously, we're going to print some of it, but having I don't know, you think of like a typewriter or whatever, and how are you gonna fix that? No, thank you.
So thorns.
Thorns. Moving is a thorn. Hate moving. It will be excited to be moved. The challenge for me with that is this will come as a shock to no one. I like to check things off a list and have things done, sometimes to my own detriment of just wanting to say that it's done. And so Adam and I have agreed that we want to live in this space and feel, what we need as far as furniture or how things are actually going to function before we start buying furniture or paint or whatever. So I'm trying to slow my roll and not want to check off house.
The things about a house, just like a practice and all the systems and protocols, there's always going to be something on that list.
Yeah.
And so it's a never ending list. And I mean, like when I bought my house, it's a new build, but it was, oh yeah, I think this room should be this color.
Yeah.
And, I love outside. So like last year I was like, yeah, I'm going to get like new grass and do this and do that. And like
projects.
So many projects always.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really great idea.
So it will be good for me because it's a good challenge to my perfectionism mentality, I think. But I'm gonna have to slow my roll. So that's a thorn. I'm trying to think what else. It's very cold in Ohio right now, and I'm excited for it to not be so cold, but we've probably got a few more months of gray, dark, cold ahead of us, which is not my favorite. But overall, things are good, which is always exciting. Trying to be grateful, reminding myself that these are even moving as much as it stinks is something that I've, dreamed about, buying a house and the practice and all these things that I worked really, really hard to get to, and just trying to appreciate it and be in the present a little bit more, I guess. What about you?
I feel like this is tough because I can't really think of a thorn that I have right now.
That's good. I would say a month ago it would have been your back, but
for sure,
that's showing a lot of improvement.
Yeah, so guess that's bad for our first episode of
Rosebud
Thorns.
I think that means you're in a good place.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing.
That's good. So to our listeners out there, if you don't have any thorns, that's great.
Yes.
I think I'm in a space where I have been very intentional about thinking of all of the ways that I'm blessed and all of the things that I'm grateful for.
You're very good with your gratitude practice.
Well, I've had to get stronger.
Yeah. Practice flexing that gratitude muscle, right?
Yes. So right now, my gratitude muscle has been flexing at an all-time high. So
that's good.
Yes.
Well, friends, we will keep you updated with, how these things evolve, and we hope you enjoy this sort of fun little look into our lives right now, and we'll see how things evolve. But we would love if you have your rosebud thorn or any other, I'm sure there are other camp counselor-y things people have, so please share with us in the comments. But until next time, give us a shout on the Future Dentist Instagram page, or you can catch me at Savanah Craig DDS.
And you can find me at Dr._Sartor.
We'll talk soon.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Beyond Graduation. If you enjoyed this week's episode, be sure to share it with a friend. Connect with us on social media at Savanah Craig DDS and at Dr._Sartor. And remember, you are not alone on this journey.
Thank you for listening to Beyond Graduation, brought to you by Ignite DDS and Future Dentists. This episode was sponsored by Ignite DDS Coaching. We build self-determined futures. For more information, please reach out to the Ignite DDS team.